I stream a bunch over at twitch.tv/gminers, usually at 9 EST. If you guys want to watch live, there is a link in the description below. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Gminers here, and in this video, I wanted to test out the IKELOS shotgun. This thing used to be a hard meta back in like the Forsaken days. It's been pretty heavily nerfed in terms of both its reload and fire rate over the years, but with the buff to shotguns recently, I wanted to see what the best rolls were for both boss damage and some tankier ad clear. If you guys do like these testing videos, make sure to drop a like and sub down below. Subbing takes 2 seconds, it's completely free, and you can always unsub later. And then also let me know what I should test next. Just looking at a base IKELOS shot, this deals a lot less damage than I had thought it would, around 1870 per pellet. So this is going to be 22,400 damage in total for just one shot. And then using something like Vorpal Weapon, which gives us an extra 15% against bosses, jumps this up to 2157 per pellet, which is now 25.8k per shot. When testing, I didn't have IKELOS shotties with Surrounded or Trench Barrel. Surrounded is a 30% buff, and this jumps up to 40% with Surrounded Spec, which you should be running with this perk. This would be 31.4 thousand damage, and then Trench Barrel, which is a 50% buff, makes this 33.6k. All of these different rolls hit for very different values, but some of those that hit a lot harder, like Trench Barrel and Surrounded, are a lot less practical for DPS. So I wanted to test those and compare them to the current shotgun meta, which is Fourth Horseman. By now, I think everyone knows that loading one shell at a time is much faster after the first mag is already shot off for most shotguns. Doing this with the base IKELOS takes 10.24 seconds in total. If we do this with just the base damage, we are getting off 360,000 total damage in this time, so our DPS comes out to almost 35,000 even. With Vorpal, this is 15% higher at 40.3k damage per second, and then finally with Surrounded and Surrounded Spec, this would be 40% higher than base, which is 49,000 damage per second. With the rework a while back to Trench Barrel, it now only lasts for the first 3 shots and then needs to be reprocced. This means you need to melee after every 3 shots to maintain the increased damage. To make this more efficient, I used Ophidian Aspects for increased handling with a shotgun dexterity mod. I tested this with fully reloading the mag and with single shell loading after the first mag, and they were practically the same timings. There might be a slightly more efficient way to deal damage, but overall, this took around 13.2 seconds to deal a total of 540,000 damage. This was almost the exact same as the Vorpal test in DPS at 40.8k damage per second. If you compare that to the testing I did with Fourth Horseman a few videos back, shooting off the same amount of shots, which is 15 or 16 depending on IKELOS or Fourth Horseman came in around 87,000 damage per second. Obviously, even the best test with IKELOS doesn't even compare to that, but for a legendary special weapon, it's pretty damn good. I think that this thing is still going to shine at dealing extremely small burst DPS and more so against majors and ultras than any bosses. Even with the single shot impact feeling so weak and the DPS values not being anything insane, using this for ad clear actually felt great. I used this a bit in the legendary campaign without Vorpal, without Surrounded, or without Trench Barrel, and it would still 3 or 4 shot the Yellow Bar Knights. I think the 3 rolls that are going to feel really good for this weapon are as follows. For general play and ad clear, especially against tougher enemies, Threat Detector and Surrounded are going to pair super well together. This weapon is going to reload and handle really snappy because of Threat Detector, and you're also going to mop yellow bars because of the bonus damage from Surrounded. As purely a DPS option, Lead from Gold and Vorpal are probably the best way to go. This is going to be the same DPS as using Trench Barrel, but it's just way more consistent. And then Lead from Gold will pair with double special and keep your ammo up at almost all times. And once again, compared to Surrounded, you won't be worrying about keeping ads alive during a damage phase. And then lastly, Lead from Gold and Trench Barrel is going to be the best for taking down majors and ultras in general. If you can melee and then kill something in 3 shots, this is by far the fastest way to do so, and it's going to increase your total damage by 50%. If you do get good with this combo of melee and then shoot 3 times, then you're also going to deal the same DPS as the Vorpal roll, but you'll just have way more damage overall. Let me know which rolls you guys have and which ones you want to go for. I think the only place to get this as of now is from Xur and from Banshee. Anyways, that's all for this video, guys. As always, have a good one. Peace.